Much love, my brothers and my sisters. And I know you're doing great because you're alive and breathing. And thank those that take the time to join in to another EBX discussion. Well appreciated, real spirits recognize real spirits. And as I always say, let's get to those honors. I honor thy ancestors. I honor my mom, my dad. May my dad rest in peace and in power. My grandparents and anyone else in my family that was close or in my family that may have passed. May they rest in peace and in power. And as well as your family, whoever's tuning in, whether alive or transition. May their ones alive be prosperous, because we have to speak good words and protection over our families. And may those that you have held dear that are no longer with us, may they rest in peace and in power. And you all that have listened to me before know why I do that, to keep the universe aligned. And let's get to that protection. I call down that protection from my great creator, because we wouldn't have none of this without him. Protection from ourselves, for ourselves. And you already know why I do that, ladies and gentlemen, because sometimes in this life, social media, in a lot of areas, we can be our own worst enemy. And as we hear a lot of our teachers say, be in tune with yourself, because then you will be able to overstand the world and everyone else. And something I've come to the conclusion of, that it has a lot to do with all of us, but especially for the young youth. And we need to teach classes. We need to have classes on impulses for all and the youth. And I think that's the pinpoint and that's the surface of a lot of things that happen that we don't understand via the world, social media, Hollywood, TV, different things we see, I would say regular people do or celebrities do out of impulses. And I'm going to break impulses down. And we have two kinds of impulses. You have your positive impulses and you have your negative impulses. So the first impulse that we're going to attack, that we're going to talk about, we're going to go with the positive impulses. We're going to break that down, and we're going to talk about that first. And then we'll get to the negative impulses that can be detrimental to our health and our mental health. Now, positive impulses is a driving or motivation force. Now, that can be a good thing if you have good things within and good things in your heart. Inspiration, those can be manifested. Sometimes the best things happen when you're in a positive state of mind. Now, I'm talking about a positive and righteously. Some things can happen naturally when you're a righteous individual off an impulse. Like, say, for instance, I'll give you an example. Like, now, there's many gifts that many of us that are on a high vibration can create on the spot. I'm talking righteously. Brother or sister. So I'm going to use music as an example, but music is really creative, and I love music and I love hip hop. So I probably will always use music as an example. Now, some of the best songs in history were made off of an impulse. And that's what I mean by the good, enriched, positive impulse. Now, those kind of impulses can impact your life in a good way. And I speak on impulses a lot, probably in my music, in videos, in podcasts, because any area in our lives that was the most challenging, that's what we should fix in ourselves and then teach to others. So with that being said, that's why I teach impulses, because that's what got one in trouble in the past, and that's what get a lot of us here now in these days gets us in trouble, especially the youth, and especially the youth and anyone that's not aware of their behavior and their inner thoughts and their subconscious and not paying attention to their psyche. That's why you have to study. You have to do things on purpose. You have to take the initiative, or excuse me, take the initiative to find out things about yourself. Because the more you understand, the more you overstand about your own self, you will begin to understand the world and other individuals that you come in contact with. And you will begin to understand who's who. And it just will keep you aware, and also will keep you not judging those. But, as we teachers say, our brothers and sisters say out here, salute, assessing those. And in this day and age, and the way social media is, it's a challenging thing to discern certain individuals, but stay with it. Stay with your character. Like you've heard me say time and time again, let no person, place, or thing take you out of your character. Be who you are, as long as you true and you righteous within your walk. Remember, if you're righteous, you're on the right path. So that's a little bit about having positive impulses, because I know sometimes we I'm sure we're all aware of having impulses, but some of us kind of gloss over it. Let's stop for a moment, smell those roses, and let's break impulses down. Because like I said, this is the root to a lot of individuals that, have done things in their lives that, really kind of messed up, that impacted it, that they didn't, those impulses, they'll get us every time. And that's a lot of trouble and a lot of problems in this world, is impulses, and not taking the time to meditate and think before we react. Okay, remember, like I said, positive, powerful, creative things can stem from impulses if you have a righteous heart. Okay, now that's one aspect of an impulse. Now, let's go over to the flip side, the other side of impulses. A sudden, strong, and unreflective urge or desire to act. Now, this is important. Now, knowing about positive impulses are important also. But I would have to say, we really have to clue in and focus on the negative also. Not consuming it, not absorbing it, but just breaking it down. And all you have to do, just like I say, if you want to teach yourself, my brothers and sisters, especially the young brothers and sisters and those in the beginning stages of self-awareness, you want to teach yourself, you want to school yourself, just look abroad. Look on social media. Look in Hollywood. Go test yourself. Do a study and research different, nothing against celebrities, just our own research, just for yourself, just to prove it to yourself, not no one else. And study the industry and Hollywood and celebrities, and just go back down through the years and look at the patterns, and you will learn a lot about impulses. And seeing what's happened here, because I'm not one to jump on bandwagons. I'm not a bait biter. I don't bite the bait, but I'm with my brothers and sisters, and I will always, which I have gotten instilled in me from my family, real family members that have, gave me advice in the past and helped me along the way, that's still instilled in me today, and other brothers and sisters and teachers that I have listened to, that things that they have taught and advice they have given, it's still instilled in me. Even brothers and sisters that I haven't talked to in a while, or teachers I haven't spoke to, I will always support, because like you always hear me say, ladies and gentlemen, I am never about disrupting the universe. We have always got to keep a cool head, and that's why I'm talking about impulses right now. We have always got to keep a cool head. And the reason why, because you never know what will lie ahead. And especially if you don't know someone and someone doesn't know you, of them. You can't make, you can't put people in your, how you're thinking, how you are. You have to appreciate those and understand where others are in their lives. And all this connects to impulses because it's the biggest issue on social media, and it's the biggest freaking problem because I see it all the time. And I tell you, ladies and gentlemen, step back sometimes. Study the art of observation. Go days without being on a device, And if you do get on a device, make sure it's something educational, something that'll feed your mind, something that'll feed your spirit, and makes you want to lift others' spirits. And that is the kind of impulses that we need to teach and share to our youth. And it's something else I want to touch on, and the reason why I say teach all the time. And ladies and gentlemen, I'll say, I don't want to come off as I'm this perfect dude and I have everything together, because trust me, one has challenges just like everybody else. But when you study yourself and you study your impulses, you study your emotions, you learn how to deal with whatever situation that is, whether it's negative or positive. You learn how to deal with it in a logical way. And once you do it 1 or 2 or 3 times and you keep doing it and you see results, you will get better at it. You will get better at it. It takes time. It takes willpower. It takes initiative. It takes listening, receiving, because even though I speak now, and like I've said in the past, it was a time when I didn't speak. And it was a time where my speech wasn't up to par. I'll be honest. And listening to teachings of brothers and sisters and working on myself and studying and being true is always a factor. Being authentic is always a factor. And it just makes things easier when you're real with yourself. Even amongst the mistakes we make along the way and coming across situations, people, person, place, or thing that doesn't overstand you. But if you know yourself, you love yourself, and you have love for others, you will understand different situations that you encounter. But it's only one way we're going to understand things that we come into, that, it's only one way that we're going to, come up with a solution and have results for our challenges. Only one way we're going to do that, ladies and gentlemen, is to study our impulses on the regular and watch our impulses. Watch the feelings that come into us, see what that is, don't run from it, run to it. And that's something that I'm going to pass on to my young brothers and sisters and anyone that's in the baby stages of self-awareness. If you have anything that's making you feel uneasy inside, don't run away from it. Run to it. Deal with it. I've said this on other podcasts and other videos. Don't run away from those small, idiotic things that our body can have inside of us. Please don't do that. I'm begging you. Please don't do that. It's because, like I've said, this was a very tough area for me. And it took years. I mean years, ladies and gentlemen, to get to this state of mind, which a lot of brothers and sisters, like I always say, they have, and some of them been through worse challenges than me, because I've heard the stories, and some, a lot of us, we done been through things we thought we wouldn't be here right now, and we don't wonder how we ain't in a crazy house. I've heard that from other teachers. So, I've been through my challenges, but there are individuals that been through stuff way worse than I have. So if you learn nothing else from me, my young brothers and sisters, and anyone deemed to be inspired and want to know another level, another way to deal with our inner challenges, that is one way, ladies and gentlemen. Study impulses. And I do, and I wish a lot of us would do this. We, on a lot of our platforms, and because especially the major ones, the real brothers and sisters out there that's really connecting and reaching people. If you can, we need to start having classes on impulses for everybody, especially the youth. So that's my advice to my brothers and sisters that's got the big platforms and really doing your thing out there. let's pinpoint impulses. And I want to say, I love my brothers and sisters. I love you all, and even those that don't understand me, I love you too, because I know oneself now, and I understand things. And one thing I know, my brothers and sisters, my soldiers and soldierettes, salute: hate, self-hate, envy, none of that shit is not gonna get us anywhere. Even though sometimes I know sometimes we're gonna feel things, sometimes we might feel just a little, but it's okay. If you're powerful and you're you have knowledge of self, you will understand, and you will know where the energy that you're feeling is coming from, why you're getting it, and you know who is coming from. But when you're righteous and you keep yourself in a righteous circle, you really don't have to worry about those things too much. So that's for those that are not seeking righteousness. So, and I'll tell you, my brothers and sisters, as long as I got breath in my body, I will always find a way to teach. And I want to go back to teaching. I didn't finish. Why I always say teaching all the time. Because I think teaching and preaching is two different things. To me, preaching is something that make you feel good. It'll lift you up, inspire you. But the difference is, are you learning from it? Now, teaching, you're learning something. So you don't have to be a teacher to teach. Just teach. Start wherever you are. If you have that fire in you, if you have that desire in you, if you have that gift, that fire that you have gotten, from your great creator, from your family, from listening to other brothers and sisters speak, because that's something I will always iterate. I didn't get to this point like this on my own. I got this fire from listening to some real authentic brothers and sisters out there, teachers out there. I always say that, because it just keeps me humble. You know what I mean? So that's why I will always iterate. I salute to those that got me to this point, because I'm telling you, if a lot of brothers and sisters that helped me and my family and friends, along the way, if they only knew the impact that they have had on my life, and this is anybody that I have listened to, I ain't leaving out nobody, anybody, the impact that they have had on my life. And I want to say, big status, small status, I have learned from either, and I love you all. So that's why I do what I do. And again, that's why I say teach, because you learn when you hear from a teacher, and you only feel good when you hear from a preacher, depending on who it is. So let's stick to teaching, because there's a difference. And again, let's go back to the impulses. I know I said this already, but if anybody come across this podcast, pass the word on. Let's start teaching classes on impulses, especially for the youth. For all and the youth. So that's my message. Always pay attention to that psyche. Anything that disrupt that flow of the universe. But remember, there's not always negative impulses. Remember, I want to reiterate that. There are also positive impulses that we can have in this life and in this world, in this dimension. But it just depends on the individual. So that's why you always hear me say, when you do righteous in the present, it will always benefit you in the future, even through the times of our mistakes and when we don't understand things. Meditate. When you get to those points in our life when you think you might feel confused, that's when you stop. Don't go deeper into your confusion. Stop. Meditate. Think. Reflect. It's something I said in one of my videos. Reflection will keep you grounded. If you reflect, you can fix the problem. But we have to take the time and do this, which is not easy. For some of us, it took forever. And for me, it took years. I mean, if you only knew. Oh my God. I've been through so many woulda, coulda, shouldas to get to this point, which a lot of us have. So again, I'll say, we get the chance. You learn nothing else from me. Let's focus on having classes on our platforms on impulses for all and the youth. So that's my real thought. That's my positive thought. And I thank those that take the time to join in, because you could have been doing anything else. Coming into another EBX discussion. And I give honor to my children, to my children's mothers. I give honor to my family. I give honor to those that helped me get to this point. And that's my brothers and sisters right here online, and friends along the way, people online, on social media, and people outside of social media. I've had a lot of great people, and there's so many I can't name them because it's too many. So I just say everybody. Big status, small status. Thank you. And I'm giving back by showing you love and giving our energy, even though sometimes we don't understand each other. But I tell you what, I love you, my brother and my sister and my family. Real talk. So my soldiers and soldierettes, salute anyone, all my brothers and sisters, family, friends. May you have peace in your part of the world, wherever you are right now. And keep tackling them impulses and study impulses in others. You know, that's a real root. That will help us get to the root of stuff that's going on. Real talk. So have a great, strong one.